They're glorious. Let's get to work. Welcome back, Dog Pack. Time to open up the old sketch pad for another episode of Led by Pixels. You ask the questions, we deliver a sketchy response. Dudes, dudettes, I've got to commend you guys. Wow, you've been sending us a whole bunch of great topics to choose from. I really want to respond to all of them. Most of them. That's my answer. Most of them. Seriously, it's hard to choose just one of the suggestions you guys have submitted, so today I've decided I'm gonna combine two. That's right, two of them. With that, we'll get right to it. What'll be guiding the old swishy lead drawn stick today? Badonk. Twitter's at Dezaban71, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right, asks, which games redefine their respective genres? That's a good start, but it's kind of a broad question. If we could just narrow the size...
Star Fox!
Alright, that'll work. Today we'll have a look at Star Fox and how it redefined the space shooter genre.
Woot woot!
Charge up them laser homing bolts, prepare the smart bombs. Ba-ba-boom! My balled up paws couldn't rub disbelief from my awestruck eyes. 3 dimensions of sharp speeding shape slickly ascended from the echoing pit of a gray and blue mountain hangar. Emergency! Emergency! Incoming enemy fighters! Prepare for launch! That killer Corneria opening lick perked my parched ears, and I didn't notice the shop's marked linoleum floors anymore. Towers of toy trash disintegrated to space dust all around me. Summer of '93. That biting heat didn't exist because I was way away in another universe, dude. Yep, I still remember when I first saw Star Fox being demoed. I can't remember names or dates for the life of me, but damn if I don't recall drooling over 20 inches of glowing glass until I was peeled away from that freshly sweated display case. We were a Genesis family back then. I wouldn't get to know Fox McCloud and his tight team of Star Warriors for a couple of years, but when I finally saved up my coins and lugged my fresh Super Nintendo home, guess what came along for the ride? Star Fox! The Big N's ultimate sci-fi action shooter, a title that seemed to take cues from arcade action gems like Afterburner and Space Harrier. But Star Fox managed to boost and barrel roll its way ahead of anything that came before it. This was clearly a different animal. Several of them, actually. When the Fox crew first graced game stores, there was one thing everyone seemed to notice. It didn't look like anything else. Until that point, console space shooters had mostly been 2D scrolling or mock 3D affairs, making clever use of 2D sprites. To put it plainly, Star Fox's visuals were out of this world. Seeing polygonal shapes and objects move at a modest frame rate on a TV game system, that was something incredible. Suddenly, you were no longer guiding flat ships through pancaked plains of obstacles. No. Growing chunks of space rock and deadly lasers felt like they were inches away from your face. All that gorgeous graphical goodness was brought to us by a little coprocessor in every Star Fox cartridge called the Super FX chip. This allowed the Super Nintendo to produce polygonal visuals as well as other complex 2D effects. Yes, Star Fox's visuals provided a sense of presence unlike anything else on that console. And besides the pitch-perfect tone-setting soundtrack, there's a little something else that adds to the game's overall immersion. Something that kind of lacked in the shooty-shoot genre. An in-game camera. That's right, a proper moving camera in a console space shooter. Who would have thought? Whether it tracked your ship from the third perspective or glared through Fox's eyes in the cockpit, the floaty fluidity of your tracked movements as you sped up, celebrated a victory, or dove into the guts of a mothership offered a sense of being right then and there. The camera also gave a little leeway to your flight path, which allowed slightly leashed exploration in an otherwise on-rails experience. You know, that term on-rails can leave a bad taste in some mouths. While you did jet through locales and train patterns in Star Fox, it cleverly deviated from the A to B roadmap that most flight shooters offered at the time. Namely, you were able to pick which set of levels you wanted to play. At the map selection screen, you could choose one of 3 paths, and each acted like a difficulty setting, some being more challenging than others. It's a very smart way of adding replay value to a typically take-it-or-leave-it one-path genre. What else? There were a heck of a lot of ways that Star Fox blasted beyond typical space shooters back then. Well, having a team of animal bros that you could interact with was pretty new. Your team's survival depended on your sharpshooting, which created a sense of involvement, unlike most games. And Star Fox's characters had character. Whether you thought McCloud's chums were cool or freaking annoying, team interactions elicited an emotional response. Slippy's not so bad, guys. While we're on characters, destructible environments made areas feel more real or alive. Seeing towers and colossal lumbering ships break down in 3D, just plain awesome. Your ship could break down too. Losing a wing was kind of a pain in the ass. It affected firepower and maneuverability, but I always thought it was kind of cool to see a crippled R-wing zip out of the atmosphere after a long boss battle. Now that I think of it, even with half a ship, Star Fox's controls were frickin' spot on for glidey space action. Truly remarkable for one of the first steps in blossoming polygonal game design. Your movements were crazy important too. Star Fox didn't focus solely on spamming your lasers like some early shmups did. Lengthy gauntlets and levels within levels let you rest your right thumb a bit to focus on looming hazards and precision piloting. Yes, Star Fox embraced simple space shooter elements like collecting power-ups, pew-pewing lines of enemy drones, and sharpshooting boss weak points, but it scooped in so much more. In the grand web of gaming history, I guess I don't see Star Fox as an enhanced 2D shmup or 3D rail shooter, but almost like the first snap in a new direction, making way for more open aerial combat titles in later generations of gaming. One thing's for sure, there's nothing else quite like it on the Super Nintendo. Today, when I revisit those space armadas, tearing enemies to shrapnel, clinging desperately to that one last little pink shred of shield, I'm way away once again, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be. Thanks for the questions. Assistant Bot, you know what to do. Mail out those sketches. Do you have a gaming topic or genre you want me to etch my way through? Well, send your suggestions to @itsassistantbot. He's programmed to deal with that kind of thing. He also enjoys long walks on the beach and crocheting motherboard flair.